Hello, hello. Okay, y'all, welcome back to Lovely Lavender Wishes. It's Renee. Are you ready to get messy today? I am working with my alcohol inks. Let me grab the box. These are I have a few other brands as well, but I got this one off Amazon, a Picasso 24 alcohol ink. They come in these little cute little containers. Now these get very, very messy. Now y'all, I am not an expert in these at all. I have a hard time controlling these. So my way of using these is kind of like a chaotic mess, we'll just say. But I do get some really cool things come out of it. So I'll show you what I've been fooling with, and then I'll show you how I did it. So the first page I didn't even use alcohol ink. So I'm using vellum and acetate paper. Acetate paper is that clear paper that you use. Let me try to grab one. So here's my vellum that I'm using. I don't even know what GSM this is. It's just a regular type vellum. It seems to be a little bit thick, but not too thick. I mean, you know, it's probably a typical vellum. And then this is acetate paper. This is transparent, or also called transparency paper. This is Hewlett-Packard brand. I've got a few of them. It's a little rough on one side and smooth on the other. So these are like those transparencies that we had in our school, you know, putting under the projectors, that kind of thing. So I've been fooling with just some splatters. So these were, what were these? These were the mica powders mixed with gum arabic, just splatters. So I've got some, let me see if I can get a white paper underneath this so you can see it. I don't know if y'all can see. So it just looks like snow, like icicles hanging down the side. So this is just some splatters. And I might cut these out for windows or what have you. So as you can see the glitter. So these were the mica powders just splattered on vellum. So I started with that. Then I got a little bit braver. So let me do one thing at a time. So I did this one. Again, some splatters, some big dots. These are still drying, I think, a little bit. I love this kind of look right here. So I might cut something like this out for a window or something. So these were alcohol inks, just put on the paper with no blending solution or no alcohol, just the alcohol inks. I blew them a little with a straw, or if you have one of those hand blower things, you know, I guess it's called a hand puffer or something like that. I don't have one. Or you can use, remember those things that when you had to squeeze the snot out of your kid's nose when they were young, you know, with the bulb on the end? You could probably use one of those too for an air puffer if you have one. So this, I just put the alcohol ink on the vellum and then put the mica powder, silver mica powder on top. But I didn't, it was mixed with the gum arabic, so it was wet. It was like a watercolor that I just brushed on with my brush and then sprinkled some dots on. So you get that kind of wintry, icy feel. So this I might cut out. Now it looks like a big mess, but when you cut out like certain sections, like if I cut out, for instance, this little section right here and make a window, look how pretty that would look, y'all. That would look really, really pretty if you just have like this little section, or I cut out like this little section. So what I do is I kind of go through and pick my favorite sections and cut those parts out. So I did that. Then the next thing I did, same thing. This was vellum paper. Again, I put a bunch on. I poured some alcohol over it, just like kind of swirled it around like this. And then on top of that, I took my foil, my reactive foil, put it on and scratched over it with my nails. So then look, y'all, you get like this scratchy, frosty kind of look. And again, it looks like a hot mess here on the page, but think about it. If I just cut out like this little section right here maybe and put it in a window and, you know, made it, or like I might do those Frankenstein pockets or pages or wherever where you sew some vellum onto the paper. So we're going to do some of those, but I'm going to use like sections of these. So like for instance, if I just took this little section part or cut a circle out of this for a window, I mean, it would look so cool. So yeah, right now it looks like a hot mess, but we'll make it look pretty, okay? So there's that. And then this one was just, this I think was my very first attempt. I was trying to figure out how to get these to work. So this was just like a blob of a variety of alcohol inks just on here, blowing with a straw, swirling it around and just to see what I can get. But again, there's certain sections on here that I really like that I'm probably going to cut out, or I might add some ephemera pieces over it, or you can emboss over this as well. Okay, so I did that. Oh, let's see. Did this one. Again, another one that I was just kind of fooling with, and then scratched some of the foil on top. Again, you get that little, depending on how it hits the light, you get the little, looks like frosty. And I love, again, this section. It looks like a frosted window pane. So right around here, I love that. And just certain sections I really like. So I'll be cutting those out. And then, let's see, I tried some on acetate paper. This was my first attempt. Let me put it on white so you can see it. I don't know if you can see it through the window. It looks pretty cool in certain areas. So this side was just the alcohol inks that I just dabbed on. And there was no rhyme or reason, threw it on. This side, dabbed alcohol inks on, and then I took a paper towel and dabbed it up. So I got this kind of look. And then on top of that, I ended up putting some gold foil, if you can see that, as well as, let's see if you can see it better like this, drips of the silver Pearl X colors. So again, I love like some of these sections, so I might like cut some of these out. Like this looks really cool too. I love this part because it looks like it's like frost on your window. So I might do something with that. So this is just the clear acetate paper. That's what it looks like on the other side. So I did that. And then I got a little braver. And so my first attempt was, again, this is vellum paper, taped it down. Then I got my hairbrush, or my hair dryer, and started blowing around with the hair dryer because it was hard for me to put the ink down and grab a straw, blow it through the straw. I was running out of breath. This was a lot easier with the hair dryer. So I put it down and just kind of swirled it around with the hair dryer and poured some alcohol on here. You can use blending solution with your alcohol inks or just alcohol. And they say the higher percentage, the better. Like 91%, I think, is one of the highest you can get. And I couldn't find any, so I had 70% rubbing alcohol. And that's what I use, and it seems to work. I mean, it might not work as great as the blending solution and such, and all I did was put a little bit of it in this little squirt bottle here, and I'll show you, I just put it over the page. So I did this, and then I put some embossing powder, silver embossing powder, on a piece of paper, dabbed it in, so all the wet spots grabbed up the embossing powder, and then I embossed it onto the sheet. And you have to be careful. I tried doing it with my hair dryer and it wouldn't heat it up enough. So I had to get my heating tool to get this to emboss. But you really do have to be careful. Keep it moving because it will scorch the paper and curl it up and melt it and everything else. So it's kind of like a happy medium. You got to play with it. But so here, like this is so, I think this area is so cool. So I'm just, there's just certain areas that I just love so that I can use that on things in the journal as well. Then I did the same thing, put some alcohol inks, blew it around with my hair dryer, put some alcohol, smeared it around, and then I embossed it. Yeah, that looks like it might have got a little scorched right there, so you got to be careful. But I stamped it with my stamps and put embossing powder on it and then heated it up. And look at that. That is so cool, y'all. I love it. I'm coming out with some really cool sections of this that I just love. So I'll be cutting those out and using those as pockets, as windows, the Frankenstein pockets and pages and stuff in my winter journal. So I did that. And then finally, I went back to the acetate paper. See here, I scorched it, and you can see it started melting, so we won't be using this section. But I did the same thing. Let me grab white, so if you can see it here. Can you see that? Okay, so I just did the alcohol, put some or the alcohol inks, put some alcohol over it, blew it with my hair dryer until it was kind of where I wanted it. I mean, again, I can't control this stuff, so it just goes where it wants, and I kind of stop when I got the kind of look I'm looking for. And then while it was still a little wet, I did the same thing. Poured some embossing paper powder on my page, flipped this over, dabbed it in, and it would stick to all the wet spots. Like, look at that, y'all. That's so cool. And so then I took my heating tool, and again, you got to be super careful because see, look, here it got a little too hot and started whoosh, and I had to stop real quick. So there's like a happy medium. You got to kind of play with it. But I love some of these sections. Like, I love this. Like, that just looks so cool. So yeah, I got some really neat areas again. So you can use this, and here's what the other side looks like. You don't see the embossing on this side. You just do see it on this side. So let's sit down. I'll show you how I do this real quick in case you all want to try it on your own. And you just got to get, you really just have to play with it. Okay, now, if you're using alcohol inks, again, I'm not an expert on these, but I do know you get messy, and this stuff will stain. So I have a paper. I have my plastic board under here, and then I've got a plastic garbage bag on top of this, and then I even put it on a piece of paper on top of that, just to kind of keep me in a general area here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this in half. Just so it makes it easy. You don't have to cut it in half. I'm just cutting mine in half just so I can do a couple different things for you. You can see how to do a couple different ways. Okay, and then what you're going to do, now the thing with vellum, anytime you get vellum wet, it wants to curl up. Vellum and water do not mix. The alcohol is not so bad because it dries real quickly, but it's still gonna wanna curl up. So I just I try to tape it down with these gloves on. I probably should have taped it down before I put my gloves on, but just tape down the corners. Pull on my glove. Just to kind of hold it in place. You gotta be careful. If you have washi tape, that'd probably be better. Just put some washi tape on here. Okay. Let me get myself in order here, y'all. I'm slipping. Ooh, be very careful, very careful. Where's my board? Okay. Okay, y'all. Ready? It's gonna get a little loud with the hair dryer. I have it on a low setting. I have it on warm and low setting. Okay, this is my embossing powder right here. These are my alcohol inks. So I have a variety of different blues, greens, and purples. Now the first way I'm going to do it is just put some color down without, what is this, turquoise? Without any alcohol on the page. So just put your ink down. You can put drips, whatever you want. Okay, then what I do is I'll put just some drips of alcohol. Now, if you have the blending solution, you can use that. And then I take my hair dryer and blow it around. You can tilt it if you want and get drips. Now, if there's an area that's too dark, put more alcohol on it. Oops, put on high, sorry. Okay, and then you can go in with other colors. Again, I'll just put a little bit. And don't get your hair dryer in your alcohol. Okay, so that's a little too dark for me, so I'm gonna put a bunch of alcohol on here. Keep getting high. So that's kind of the general idea. So this one's going to be a little darker. This one, yeah. But if you want it lighter, the more alcohol you put on, the lighter it'll like wash it out. So see, I can kind of, actually, let's do some, I'm going to try something. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to go in. I'm doing some dabs and we're going to, this will make the alcohol spread out. You can see these dots happening. You can put bigger dots if you want, smaller dots. Let's see what that looks like. So I told y'all, I am not an expert on how to do this. I am just kind of goofing around. But if you can see where you put your water, or not your water, your alcohol, you'll get these little dots. It'll spread the ink out like that. So now what I'm gonna do, I want like a bunch. Let's see what that's gonna look like. So this is alcohol that I'm using, not water. And I'm just splattering it literally all over the page. Let's see what that's gonna look like. Again, it's just something you have to experiment with, have fun with. Ooh, it's looking pretty cool. Look at all those little dots. I love this area right here, this thing. So I'll have to do something with that. It's still a little wet. So now I'm thinking, since it's still a little wet, those will be some cool areas to put some embossing powder on. So let's see how it'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna carefully try to get that off. Get that off. So I'm gonna grab my silver embossing powder and yeah, I'll just put it right here. So I'm just gonna put a little bit right there and I'm gonna start patting my paper down. See, here's some wet spots, so that got some. And I'm just patting it down onto it, pressing it down. Seeing if I missed any wet spots. There's some down there. So if you can see where the powder has stuck to certain areas. So now let's dump this. Let me move that to the side. You gotta be careful with everything. Like I've got powder I don't wanna spill. I've got alcohol inks I don't wanna spill. Y'all know me. I think spilled this stuff I don't know how many times already. I'm like, no! Oh, it's hard to work in these gloves too. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my heating tool and we're gonna heat this up as carefully as we possibly can. without burning this thing. So let's see if we can keep it moving. Maybe y'all will be able to see this start to change on camera. This part's already curling up a little bit. And it's melting you gotta be careful, it'll melt your gloves, it'll melt your vellum, it'll melt everything, so be very careful. If you have a setting on your heating tool, I have on and off. So if you have a setting on your heating tool, you can make it lower if you can. I don't know if you can see, the silver's starting to change in areas. It looks so cool, y'all. I'm trying to hold it so y'all can see it start to change as it goes. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving, and just go back to things if you need to. Ooh, so cool. It's like a frosty window pane. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, so let me put that to the side. So this is what it looks like. Look at that. Oh, so cool, y'all. Like you can get some really cool effects doing this. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I'm gonna make some really cool windows and stuff in my journal, my winter journal with this. So there you go, that's one way. Now another way you can do it, so put your paper down. So remember last time I just put the alcohol ink on here with no alcohol on the page. Another way, or blend, you can use blending solution, which I don't have, or alcohol, which I do have. So again, y'all know I use what I have. So let me tape this down real quick first. It's a little pain to try to get it on and off with the tape, but it does help in the long run just to hold it down for you, because otherwise you're going to be trying to hold the paper down while you're putting the alcohol ink and everything else on there and such. If you have like a non-stick tape, this is just the tape that I had. Again, y'all know me, I do everything the hard way, and I just grab what I have and that's what I use. And if it's difficult, I just deal with it. So again, use what you got and just get creative with it. Now these alcohol inks, this whole set, I don't think was very expensive, because I wouldn't have bought them if they were. So I got it on Amazon, and it was this 24 pack because I wanted a variety of colors, and they're perfect size to play with. So unless you're doing a lot of alcohol ink where you need like bigger jars of it, I think this is a good size. So let's do, oops, oh, no, I was going to show you all. I'm going to put alcohol down first. So I'm just, I don't know if you can see that, just smearing alcohol all over the page. And you can see what happens when the ink hits it. So let's, actually I'm gonna kind of smear it around the page like this, so you can kind of like get this really cool effect just by smearing it all over the page like this. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna dry that. I think I put a little too much alcohol on there, and you want to be in a well-ventilated place, because alcohol reeks. You don't want to be breathing it in too much. Okay, well that's a little wet. Oops, sorry y'all, I just hit the camera. I'm gonna put oh, that's so cool, y'all. Let's see what this will look like. I forgot which ones I've used already. Did I use a blue blue-green. A little bit more. Ah, it's starting to curl up. Now, if you want, that's pretty cool, this part, I like this part. Now, if you want, you can even flip this over and put alcohol on the other side, and then you'll get a different effect shining through. So you can do that as well. You can get like a different layered effect if you flip this over and do things on the other side. I don't know. Let's see, I want to put, just that. Drip, just a drip. Actually, let me, sometimes you don't even need a dryer really all the time. If you want to just kind of do like a, just let it drip like this, you can, kind of like with watercolor, you just kind of direct where you want it to go. Ooh, I love it. And I really liked those dots, so I think I'm gonna use my brush and put some, ooh, look at that rainbow look right there. That's kind of cool, like a dark rainbow. Okay, where'd my brush go? Right here. Actually, I gotta dry this before I can. So again, y'all, see, just controlled chaos. It's not really controlled. We'll just call it chaos. But you just gotta kind of play with it, have fun. There's no, y'all, I don't know how people make those really pretty. I gotta play with these a lot more to really get some of the effects that some people get. But you know, I'm just kind of playing with it and seeing what I get out of it. So you can swirl it around, do whatever you want with it. Let's do some of these little dots again. And the more alcohol you go in with, the more it'll lighten the color. Some people say that you can take alcohol and you can, it's like if you don't want these really bright colors, you can make little containers with alcohol or the blending solution in and just do a few drops of the colors and it will bring it down. So instead of it being like a dark purple, you can bring it down to like a lavender color or something. So you can kind of play with these as well, like mix them and dilute them a little bit. So yeah, you just gotta kind of play with them. This is so fun, y'all. It's messy, but it's fun. It's just cool to see like what you can come up with. And you'll, again, it's one of those things, I like things where you never come up with the same thing twice. So every piece is a different kind of work of art. It's kind of cool. Ooh, I love it. Love it. Okay, let me put the cover on this. So now with this, let's try this. And then same as like we did with this, you can take a stamp, put it in your embossing powder or embossing Versamark stamp, you know, embossing stamp it, then pour the powder over it and emboss it like usual. You just have to be careful that you don't burn it. But this one, I think, I don't want to put any silver on this one. This one, I think I want to keep as is. So I'm going to finish drying this real quick. Got these little pieces right here. Here, where's my, I'm going to just dab that up and dry that. Stick my brush in the alcohol to clean that up, and then make sure you clean everything. See, if you put the color in with alcohol, it just changed my color a little bit. So you probably only need like a few drops of alcohol with a couple drops of the alcohol ink, and you can dilute it and give it, you know, make it a real lighter color if that's what you want. I'm just using it straight from these, but you know, there's so many things you can do with these, and I'm still learning all the different techniques, but you know, I had these, I'm like, I gotta use them, and I love doing it on vellum and the acetate paper. So let's bring this up close so y'all can see. Look at how cute that is. I love some of the areas. Like, look at this area right here. That's so cool. In this area. And then when the light shines through, I don't know if you can see it through the window, but kind of gives it a little translucent feel. I mean, it's not completely see-through, but it's cool. The light comes through it. I love that. I might make some tags out of these too. Some window tags. That'd be cool. So you can hold them up and see them. See that through it. Maybe some Frankenstein tags. So I'll take you all along when I do that as well. But okay, so that's the gist of it all. So let's see here. So like I said, you can do little splatter dots. You can just do the alcohol ink and then splatter dots over it. That looks pretty cool too. Actually, I might put some splatter dots on that one. Actually, since we're talking, let's do that. Okay, so let me grab my silver. Let me find it. Oh, where is it? Okay, here it is. So this is my gum Arabic and my silver Pearl powder, so mixing it up, getting it going. Okay, and when you have these on, make sure you don't touch nothing with them because it will make a mess. So when you're done with these gloves, you probably want to just throw them away. So I got a package of these of like 200 gloves for a couple bucks at the store, or $4. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a few dollars. Ooh, we don't want a big. Come on. There we go. It's starting to come. And you'll definitely be able to see this in the light. Once it all dries, it'll be shimmery and shiny, like frost on a window. I should have just kept this taped down. Sorry, y'all, it's starting to curl. And then what I do with them, once they're a little dry, I stick them all under a big like Bible or dictionary overnight to flatten them out. You can iron them, but I think with the vellum, you gotta be very careful with ironing these. So I just stick them under a book overnight and then they all get flat. So no problem, easy peasy. And it's hard to see this when it's wet, but when it dries so cool. Really shimmery and shiny, just like a little frost on a window, like I said, like I love it. What I might do is when I cut these out, I might emboss some silver around the edges to look like, you know, like it's frost on the around the window pane. So who knows? I just gotta see, you know, I make a whole bunch of this stuff and then I figure out what I'm gonna do with it as I go. But as I go, I will show y'all. Let me close that real quick just so I don't spill it. Okay, so I'll bring this up close, but you really, I don't know if you'll be able to see it yet. Can you see all of, oh yeah, you can kind of see it when the light hits it. When it dries, it really pops. Oh my gosh, y'all. You can do this for your Bible journaling too. You can do this for like, anytime you want to do a universe picture or a outer space picture or something, this would be really cool too. Or for, I mean, you can do this for anything, really, for cards or anything, but you can do this on vellum or whatever, and then stick it, cut it out, do all this, make stars or whatever, cut it out, and put it in your Bible as well. Or your junk journaling, or your art journaling, or whatever it is you do. Oh my gosh, y'all, I love this. And this can get so addicting. I've already gone through, I don't know how many pieces of vellum and acetate paper, but it's so fun. And you can just cut out the pieces that you like. And like I said, it looks like a hodgepodge mess when you're looking at the page like this. But then when you cut it out or you add it to things, it really does look cool. So there you go. So anyways, I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to stick it all under a book for the night. But it gets messy, y'all, so be careful. So just kind of protect yourself, protect your workstation. But these are really fun to play with. They can be intimidating. I had them for a long time and never even used them because I didn't know how to use them. I say, again, as with anything, just go for it. You've got to just play with it. And you might, you know, discover something that you really love. I love the effects I get with this, even though I have no idea how to get the effects that a lot of people get. I'm still learning. But hey, it's a process, it's a journey, and it's fun to learn along the way. So the more I play with them, the more I'm learning and exploring and experimenting and finding new things to do. So anyways, hope that helps y'all. So you'll see those throughout my winter journal. Maybe some in my Bible journaling as well if I have anything extra, so which I'm sure I will. But yeah, I'm going to go get cleaned up now. So have a great day. I'll see y'all later in the next video. Bye, y'all.